All rise.
Due to the nature of this trial, the courtroom has been closed to media and to the public. I see we have Mr. Anthony Hall in the courtroom today. Should I be impressed? Hello, Mr. Patrick.
Your Honor.
Well, let's get this circus on the road. Mr. Patrick?
Short and sweet, Your Honor. Miss Mill overstepped her boundaries by becoming the judge, jury, and executioner in the murder of Michael Gilliam. Now, what we don't want to do is turn this trial into a white privilege trial. And I'm not going to let the defense attorney turn this trial into an O.J. circus. Why? Because I don't think a community of people who feel simply that they are moving targets for the police, no matter what the color of the cops are, will fall for that crap. That's why.
Mr. Hall.
They protect our streets, serve the public, and have the trust of the people. And this is what they get for all their hard work? Being put on trial for trying to rid the streets of thugs. Now, white cops, they get away with it all the time. I'm not going to stand here and let the system make an example out of her. There are many cases where mistaken identity leads to the loss of life. And we're sorry for the death of this young man, but these mistakes do happen.
Mr. Patrick, call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to call Mr. Gary Wright. Mr. Wright, you're a former police officer, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How long were you on the force and why did you step down?
I was on the force for 10 years. I stepped down in 2014 because I couldn't stand to see what my brothers in blue had become. They became vigilantes.
And why was that? Now, Mr. Wright, vigilantes is a strong word.
Yes, sir. They'd organize and set up young black men or just people they didn't like, so they figured they could get away with anything, especially young black men.
Is there more?
Yes. We would trump up charges against black men, figuring we could get away with about anything in the black community. Rookies would be assigned to work with certain cops that the department was well aware had a hatred for black men. I never knew blacks could hate their own people before I met her.
Hate. Hate is a strong word.
It is what it is, sir. She was a mean and hateful person that us white cops would be paired up with. Our supervisor would tell us, just do what she says, follow her lead, and don't say anything. After a while, I found myself becoming like her.
Is she the reason why you left the force?
One of them.
So it's fair to say she is a very vengeful and deliberate person that would kill without remorse.
Yes, sir, it is fair to say that.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. No more questions.
Before we continue, Miss Mill, it seems like you have no fear of what the outcome of this could be.
Why should I? If I don't fear God, why should I fear this court?
Mr. Hall, do you have any questions for Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. May I approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Wright, you said that the defendant was mean and hateful towards black men. You also said that she was unremorseful. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that you shot an unarmed black man in the back? Isn't it true that you broke his arm and beat him unconscious? Well, don't look over there. They can't help you.
Are you done, Mr. Hall?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may step down, Mr. Wright. Mr. Patrick, call your first witness.
Your Honor, I would like to call Miss Gilliam. Thank you, Miss Gilliam. Miss Gilliam, is there anything you would like to share with the court?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, my son was the product of the after effects of my addiction, but he refused to let the streets get the best of him. He went from packing bags to becoming a manager of the only place he's ever worked. He was a vital part of our community, and they loved him about as much as I do. And to you, I don't think that you will be justly convicted, but conviction shall set in. And with that, you will have to deal with your Christian God for the rest of your life. You've been a bad seed in this community for a very long time. You know everybody, and everybody knows you. How could you have not known that that was my son? That was my son. You saw a black man in a hoodie fighting a white man, and just like your racist partners, you took the opportunity to become judge, jury, and executioner. But you made a bad mistake this time, a huge mistake. You killed my only son, a beloved member of this rundown community.
Is that it?
Yes.
Thank you,
That's
Ms. Gilliam. Just one more question. How did you learn about your son's death?
The next day, while watching television.
No more questions.
You know, I'm hurt and I'm saddened to see someone who is supposed to be protecting our community here for breaking the rules of ethics and honor. I got to tell you, this is very troubling to me. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Hall?
Look, as your lawyer, I'm telling you, don't take the stand. The prosecution is only going to use your testimony against you.
You're my attorney. I am paying you. Do you really think they're gonna convict me? If everybody else can get away with it, I'm sure I can.
All right, I mean, that's what you want. But I'm telling you, you need to take my advice.
You're worried. I'm not worried.
That's what you want.
Mr. Hall?
The defense calls Helen Mill. Miss Mill, could you tell the court who you are?
I'm a 20-year veteran of the force. I work in the worst part of the city. My job is to protect and serve.
And on the night in question, did you go out with the intention and malice to kill the victim?
No, I did not.
And prior to the night in question, have you ever been charged with any wrongdoing?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And Mr. Patrick, do you have any questions?
20-year veteran, protect and serve. So part of your job is killing innocent people?
Look, he resisted. I pulled my taser to apprehend him.
A 20-year veteran. And how can you take out the wrong weapon? You were on a mission that night and you wanted to kill somebody. Admit it.
Objection.
Admit it. You
No, I
wanted to
didn't.
kill somebody.
Your Honor, objection.
Admit it.
Is Patrick the
witness. Don't answer
You
that.
want to rid the community of a thug?
Don't answer that.
And Mr. Gilliam was right for the taking.
Object, don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Yes, I killed him. And yes, I want to finish all these thugs.
Bitch! Bitch! I know you killed him! You bitch! You killed my own son.
Am I sorry for his loss? Maybe I am. But my job is to protect and serve. Do you have any idea how hard it is to see these young people out here doing absolutely nothing with their lives?
But this community is not full of thugs and wasted people. Mr. Gilliam was a hardworking man. A lot of people depended on him for support. And he came from a place that he called his home. The real shame is that the robber is out there still robbing this community. I'm done.
You may step down, Ms. Mill. This is a very, very troubling case. And I will retire to my chambers, and I'll be back with my decision. Well, should I feel honored?
Let's cut through the chase.
All right then, let's just get it out. I'm not you, and I'm not like you. As a matter of fact, the only thing we have in common is the color of our skin.
You know, this could really hurt our department.
Tell that to Mr. Gilliam's mother.
You're making a huge mistake.
Right.
All rise. Be seated.
No one is above the law. Just because you've been given a badge and a gun doesn't give you the right to violate other people because of their skin color or what they may choose to wear. Ms. Mill, please stand. I think you need help. But I also believe that there is a lot more to you than just simply wanting to rid the streets of thugs. You're angry. Becoming a police officer was your way of venting and releasing your anger. And you've been venting and releasing for over 20 years. But a police officer has to rise above any personal conflicts that will not allow them to protect and serve the community credibly. So having said that, I hereby sentence you to 10 years in the North Carolina Department of Corrections. To be a puppet means you are unduly controlled by or unduly influenced by somebody else. I refuse to be a puppet, especially in a game that's set up to destroy people's lives. I can't sit around and lend a deaf ear to a justice system that's it's been designed to fail black people.